everyone, this is Emily at the Coloring Oasis. Thanks for being here today. I've been working on, I have a whip in this World Traditions, a World Heritage book by Eriy. And I wanted to show you a technique that I'm doing right now that can help you speed up when you're doing, I see I have ink on my hand, when you're doing pages, have a lot of objects that are like full on open designs, to make it not, take as long. And the thing with the Eriy's books, right, is you can't use alcohol markers because, the books are so beautiful and they're double-sided, meaning that you, don't want to do alcohol markers, but pencil really takes a long time. So if you see how like in Eriy's books you have these big open trees with no texture or detail, or you have just a line art, big swans kind of a thing. So there is a technique I can show you. Here is the whip I'm working on now. And this technique involves using water-based markers as an underlayer with Prismacolor pencils over for detail. And I'm going to kind of talk about the difference and show you the difference. I started here, so I'm going to show you, like, this is a water-based pen by Brunzeel. There's a Hoo water-based pens, and like the Tombow Dual Brush pens are water-based pens. And this literally took me about 2 minutes to quickly do one single fast layer over these apples. And yeah, you can see like some of the spots and you only do one layer because you don't want to darken it. You don't want to have, more streaks than necessary. And then I'm going to use 4 different colors. Technically, I might generally only use 3 to put details on these apples, which we're going to do. I'll do here on the camera. I just started my sky. So for example, with the sky, I'm using 3 different Prismacolor pencils, no alcohol, no water-based pen. It's taking, takes a long time. This is just kind of my first layer. Let's look at these green leaves for an example. For the green, you see all these green here, these solid color, more olive green color. I used a Pitt Artist pen, not this one, a different green one I have in the other room. And I just quickly did one fast go over to keep it pretty light and streak free over each leaf. And then I have, and we'll do one on camera too, I have 3 different greens that I then put in detail on these leaves and over these, right? So you can see the difference. And I'm still working on, I have to use my Prismacolor blender a little bit, but you can see the difference. We have the underlayer here, and then we have the with the 3 pencil shades on top. And there are a few, and the same with the apple, but we have not done any apple ones yet. And if you look over here, I have a simple single Prismacolor yellow on her hair. I'm using 3 different purples so far to start on her dress. Prismacolor, no brush pen. A lot of these little flowers and stuff, I did Pitt Artist pens because it's just faster. And it's small enough you don't need to really go over with pencil. So in what instances would you want to do this method? And like I said, when you have big areas or a lot of objects, if I were to have done these leaves with the 3 Prismacolor pencils from scratch without a base, it would have taken me a lot longer. Really, it comes down to 2 things: saving time and depth and richness of color. You're more likely to see more of a powdery look, from pencil only, even if you'll probably have to do a couple of layers. You might have to use the Prismacolor blender stick. And use a lot more pressure and a lot more of your pencil you'll have to use to push harder, to fill in all the tooth on the paper. These books take Prismacolor or any waxy pencil actually really pretty well. Also, what works really well in here are Black Widows, Sioux color pencils, and my Castle Art Gold work great in this book. Anyway, polychromos, not so much. Oh, also my Artisto budget pencils, which are very really blendable, work good in here. Okay, so anyway, so that would be the main reason is look how rich and deep these greens look. And I'm not fully done, but I didn't have to do very much, even on top of the green compared to what I would have had to do with those 3 greens straight over the white page. So with the apple, same deal, right? Like I think a lot of it is redundancy. Like I don't want to be doing 50 leaves all the same and straight pencils. It take too long, you know, and I get like bored. I want to move on to other things. So that would be the main reason. So you also, I'm going to do one here so you can see. Also, you do not want to do multiple streaks. Let me see if I can zoom in. So another tip, you want to do lighter than darker. So you see in these pencils, I mean, I have a black for some shadow, but we're doing like a Tuscan red, a crimson red, and a scarlet lake. You want all of the colors you do to be a little darker than your base. So your base, you always want to be lighter, not so light like a pastel. This is like a medium green. Like you want it to be the same shade family of the red you're going to put on top, but lighter. So imagine there was a fourth, let's take out the black, a fourth red, and it would be lighter. If you do these darkest to lightest, it would be like this. It would be, imagine it's 1 to 2 shades lighter than your light of the 3 tones. You have a dark tone, a medium tone, and a lighter tone. But imagine you had a lighter tone, one less, like there's a pencil that's one less tone. That would be kind of the match you would want to do for your solid base. So the reason being, if it's really dark, if I did a dark red pen marker of any kind, like for example, I don't have any here that are red, but if you do like a darker red, that's like a maroon or burgundy or just a dark red, apple red, you're not going to see much of the pencil work. And I only use a darker water brush marker or pen shade if I'm going to do a single color only over it. So for example, if I wanted these apples to be a solid dark burgundy color, like a dark red apple, and no blending, no multiple shades, highlight, lowlights, then yeah, I would look for a marker that's the same color or just a teeny bit under, like let's see Tuscan red. I would look for a Tuscan red marker, and then I would match it to the closest colored pencil I can find and do a single layer over it. It looks so rich and beautiful. But if you're blending and using multiple colors, you have to be lighter than your lightest shade, if that makes sense. So for example, over here, let me go back out. Over here, I used a pink, was not this one, it's a different pink Faber-Castell pen. And then I found the matching Prismacolor pencil that was almost exactly the same pink, and I just went right over it real quick, and they're nice and deep and dark. Versus, you don't see any of the alcohol, water-based marker streaking. Okay, so anyway, let's go back in. So what I'm going to do here, and I'm only going to do one quick, this one's a little frayed. I've used it a lot on other things. I love this bright red. And you don't even have to get every little nook or fleck or, because you want it to be quick. You want to avoid as much streaking as you can. This one's about out. I think I'll make it. So normally I would be, I'm not going to go back over it again. Water brush pens do streak, but one layer generally does not. Now we're going to let that dry before we go over it with a pencil, right? Just look how fast that was. So now we're going to use the pencils. I'll do the same on the leaf and show you what we're going to do here. And of course, there's different ways you can apply your colors. Let's pick another apple. Let's just pick this one here. So you can put in these shades any way you want. I got the black just for a little bit of a shadow in the corner. You don't really need the black. I'm going to put a little bit of black up here, kind of where it rounds. Just on one side. So maybe it looks like there's a little more shade on the tree or something up here, you know. And we can always adjust for more or less. The next one. Let's go to the next darkest color, which is that Tuscan red. And I'm going to go over that black. And you do need to use a good little bit of pressure because it's a little scratchy when you go over water-based mediums. So this is a fantasy forest, so these apples are going to be a little bit dark. A little poison apple kind of scenario. We can do a lot of different things. I'm going to do kind of a gradient. I'll show you different ways you can do this. So I'm just going to lighten my pressure a little. Let's go into the next dark color, crimson red. And I'm going to blend into that, going away from the dark colors. You have to hold your page down, which is kind of a hassle. And I'm going to use a good pressure and kind of overlap the reds. It feels a little different than when you put it straight on the paper because there's not a lot of tooth to, you know, suck it up. So it feels unusual. You do have to have a little bit of elbow grease to get this done. Now let's take the lightest color, Scarlet Lake, and we can do these apples a few different ways. You can kind of see. I'm not used to doing this on camera. Oh, too hard. Don't worry about it breaking. There's a glare on there from my light. I can't see exactly where I'm hitting from the gloss on the Prismacolor. So I'm just filling in the rest of this apple here. Okay. I'm even overlapping the other color. We'll do another one another way we can see. And I'm just going to go over both colors now. Actually, I'm going to go back to the middle color. Give it a little second touch right here, just to really deepen it. It looks like I missed a few areas. You can almost see some marker there. I'm actually even going to touch that Crimson Lake and touch over the dark again, just a little. Deepen that up. And go back to the really lightest, way over here. I went a little over right there, but that's all right. You don't need a blender stick because with the water-based medium underneath, that's not going to do much good. Always use your brush for crumbs like that. So let's go ahead, and these apples don't all have to be the same. Let's do the one next to it. I'm going to do a little bit of the black on the top of both. We'll do it a little different. And you can even skip the black and go right to the Crimson Lake if you wanted, or I'm sorry, the Tuscan red. But this just helps kind of give it a little more richness. And I'll show you how you could even just do 2 of the 4 colors if you want all your apples to look a little different. Pretty quick. It was actually faster doing the leaf because I only used 3 colors, so we're blending in now the Crimson Lake going down. You're gonna lighten the pressure right about the line where you want to blend in the next color. Don't have to be perfect because we're gonna touch it up after. Let's go to the middle. Red. You're just going darkest to lightest of your colors basically. And we'll leave a little room for the light one at the bottom. Okay. This is, you know, I mean, might look a little sloppy because I'm trying to make this a shorter video. I would generally spend quite a bit longer on it on my own, and then we'll do the lighter red, but I just wanted you to see how this can look. I should have left one apple. Oh, I do have one apple barren on the left side. Maybe I'll do that one straight pencil, and you can kind of see the difference. So I'm going back over. I'm going to retouch and get that black. I'm going to darken it a little up here, right at the top. So you got a little bit of that either a shadow or a hint of a poison apple, one or the other. Go back into the crimson, blend a little bit of that in, right on over and in, deepen up that color. And I mean, you look how fast though I'm doing it, these layers. There's no tooth when you put the pencil on, like whereas when you do it straight up on the white paper, the lightest one again. So you can see, that's just like a quick kind of easy job, but you see, you know, the apples, you can do it different ways, how you want them kind of laid out. If it looks like it's too harsh of a gradient from one color to the next, take that color and soften it. The color that's too dark and soften it into the lighter one you just did. So it fades a little more subtly. Just tickle that on in there. Okay, so that's how we got some good dark apples. Let's do, I will show you two here because we're kind of indicating that it's more shadowy up here. That's all the apples. I'll probably continue with one of these two patterns. We cannot do the black. We can just do the Tuscan red. And I'll show you the difference. Not a huge difference, but you can still tell. Oh, I'm just gonna, you see how though the contrast between that water-based marker and this pencil. So if I only wanted the whole apple to be this red, this, you know, Tuscan red or like a maroon, I would have used a maroon water-based pencil. It would be less noticeable difference. Okay. Maybe you're gonna do like a little, go down a little right there. Just make it like not non-specific kind of pattern. Let's take that middle red. I can do one apple. I'll show you the lighter color going single over the lighter apple. What would it like? I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Hold on in just a second. Okay, I'm doing this kind of quickly, but let's do the Scarlet Lake. This is Scarlet Lake. The other one is, I got the Tuscan red, the black. What's the other one? It's crimson red, in case you're wondering. Crimson red. Yeah, so you see, like without the black, you see the difference? I like the black. It's a nice contrast on a blue sky, but let's take the Tuscan red and just darken this up a little. And just kind of soften it. Blend it a little bit more into that other red. Just kind of squiggling it in there. Yeah, I think I'm a fan of the black, the kind of shadow. Maybe it's a bad apple. Maybe it's poison. All right, then the light one again. So if I were to take this light one here, and this is not, I mean, obviously these apples don't all have to even be the same colors. I wanted a uniformity on this apple tree. I mean, you can do apples all different colors, but most apple trees grow one species, right, of apple. So there's just a general concept. If it's too harsh right there, you can just kind of, again, soften it with the darker color. Fill in, you just keep working it. Like you can smudge in, believe it or not, more color. All right, so let's take the lightest. If we were gonna do a single color like Scarlet Lake on this apple, we could. It's not, I would almost do one lighter still, but let me just show you. I mean, it's kind of close enough. We could get away. There's still a pretty good contrast there, so maybe not, but obviously I have a whole bunch of Prismacolor pencils. I could have found a matching color, but this is so easy. If you're in a jiffy hurry, you want to get done in a jiffy, you just pick one solid color that's not too much different, and you can just pump out, getting all your apples, nice rich color in there with your water-based background base. And it's a lot faster than doing straight pencil. See, that's really all you need to do. I would still go one shade lighter. That's closer though to the base. And sometimes the base being lighter almost shows like highlights through the pencil. It shows almost like a, or low lights, but almost like a highlight. It's kind of hard to explain. Technically it's a low light because it's underneath, but it's almost like it highlights it. It brings out a glow from underneath. All right. So you can see, then if I zoom out, you see these apples. This one I did a little bit more black, so you can, you know, soften that if you wanted. That one has the solid color, but look at the difference. If you look at the difference between the one with this pencil over it, you need to fix a spot, and a base, you see the difference? Now I can show you, I don't even want to do this because it'll take too long, but, well, it won't take too long. Let me just show you kind of quickly the difference if we do an apple with the pencils and no base. So let's take some black here. You have to do it softer when you're going straight onto the white, but you're going to see a lot of that powdery look, which is all that tooth that you see through. I'm going to put a little bit right there. Actually, I'll do a little bit up here. And I have a pretty sharp pencil. Let's just do this kind of quickly. The Tuscan green, no such thing. Tuscan red. Yeah, you'll see. I mean, it doesn't go on like it's colored. You see all that white. And you might overlap on the black. But this is like the first layer. You'll want to do more than one layer. And even I'll use a Prismacolor blender stick to press all the pigment into the tooth of the paper and blend it and give it more of a smooth finish, but it's just more work. All right, here's that third one. And the fourth one. So you see, that's just what happens when you color over, but you got a lot more work on that apple, right? You have to repeat the process once you kind of know where your colors are going to lie. So let's start again. Take the black, and I'm going to go over the black. A little harder. If you do the whole thing hard, you're going to be using a lot of your pencil lead. That's why I like the blender sticks to press everything down. You don't have to use quite as much pencil or elbow grease. Let's do the Tuscan. Even the second layer, you're still seeing a lot of white tooth, and I'll zoom in closer. I'll show you. I mean, you can really get in there and press hard and blend them without a blender, but it's going to take more work. We're blending 4 colors in these apples. And so like already my hand is tired. I've already spent more time on this so far, and I still need to blend. So at this point, with your second layer, I'll show you. And I'll show you how I do the leaf too. You're seeing a lot of tooth on that apple still. See all that? And doesn't look quite as good or seamless. So what I would do next, if I wasn't doing the base layer, is I had to go find my little stick. This is what's left of my Prismacolor colorless blender stick. I need to get some new ones. I use like those 2-packs, like it's cool. So in this case, you're gonna start in the lighter area, hold your paper flat. You still need to use pressure. What this does is it heats up the wax of the pigment, presses it hard with your elbow grease into the tooth of the paper and closes off the tooth so it looks smooth. And then you're going to just work up into the black. Sorry, I'm shaking the table because I'm doing this hard. I personally like the look better with the base, and it's less work. See, you can already see that. This one is, you gotta be careful like I'm doing now. It's pulling a lot more of that black and that dark red over the light color. So that's a much darker, a little bit of a darker apple. So in the end, you still get, you know, a similar look, but it's when you're blending with your pencils only and blending with a blender stick, you're more likely to drag or, you know, get dark over the light color. I like the subtle look of that one. That one was that black. I like this one. But just look at the red, the difference in the red. It's more deep and like red paint almost than when you do straight pencil. It just looks better. That's really all there is to it. Let me show you what I did with the leaves. So this color is, here's my lightest. My lightest is pretty close to the leaf color, maybe a little more lime, which is okay. It's not like it's pastel. So I have a dark, a medium, and a light. I have Kelly green, apple green, and spring green. I just used a Pit Artist medium green. So I would take the darkest. So they're all still in the same kind of family, but you know, different shades. As long as the lightest is pencil isn't too much, is not lighter than the base, or is at least the same. So we're gonna take the darkest one, and I'm gonna color. Oh no, I want to start at the base. Oh, sorry, I always start my darker ones at the base. It's always more dark at the base of the leaf than the tips. Just doing 1/3. So we have 3 greens, so we're doing 1/3 of the leaf. Lighten it right there. Look, watch how quickly I can do 3. I'm going to do 3 back to back, 3 side by side. You can see, and you don't even have to be that precise how you get the green on there. Okay, let's go to the middle color. We'll do the second third of the leaf, blend into that green right at the edge where the other color left off, and go down, leaving enough space for that lighter color. Get nice and creamy. Still need to use pressure. Okay. I did get a little there because I started dark. And so look how fast I'm getting 3 whole leaves done versus if I was doing all 3 of these in pencil. It's probably cuts down by half the amount of time it takes. And then the lighter, oh, lost my green. The lighter green, we'll just finish off here in the tip, and we'll overlap, blend that into where that other green left off. Look how bright and like popping now the leaves look. So easy. Doesn't even have to be perfect. And it makes a lot less crumbs overall because you're not doing a lot of pressure and color blending. So that's really all I do. I didn't even do a second coating on any of these. If you see any, like I feel like I missed over here, I might have missed a couple areas. I need to add some more dark. Need to fix up a few of these. I didn't do hard enough pressure. So yeah, that's really all you have to do. You can go back and touch it up. You know, you can do a little bit second if you need to, if you didn't do it hard enough the first time. Just repeat the process. If you do it hard enough, you don't really need to repeat the process. So with my dragon, any suggestions what color I should do that dragon? I've been stumped on that. I don't know what's gonna go well with my color theme. Another tip is, let me zoom out so you can see. On these double page spreads, I try to have some crossover colors for, you know, artisticness, and so the eye it goes together, even though these are 2 different scenes. So here I did that yellow and marigold of her shirt, which was a water pen. I'm going to go over that with pencil. I brought some of those colors over here. I put a little bit of the the lighter and the darker yellows here, and her hair and the flowers and these little things here. I put these, the pink, lavender, purples of these flowers are the same in these flowers here. I don't have any red yet over here, but I'm going to put a few little bits of red just for pop of color. So I'm going to probably put like these two medium, the lighter and the medium reds into these two flowers maybe, just so you see a little bit of each color that goes. Now the real question will be, when I finish this whole sky with the pencils, 3 different blues, will I do that sky the same color? I don't know. Because that might make it look like it's, I probably won't, because it'll look like it's supposed to be like side by side in the same yard. Although it could be they're both in the same yard. So that one I'm playing by ear. But if not, I'll use some other kind of, you know, blue. So the dragon needs to have some colors that are over here. I could do a pink dragon with multiple different pinks. I could do purple dragon. Does anybody have any ideas? I'm not big on doing dragons. My goal, by the way, has been to do 1 spread per month in all 4 of my romantic country books. First, second, and third tale, and then this one, which is my favorite, the World Traditions. 1 whole spread per month, so it's 1 per week, so there's 4. And then it would take me, I think I calculated 3.5 years to complete all the 4 books. That's kind of a goal that I just started on, so we'll see. But anyway, I hope you learned something. Just make sure that your pens are water-based. For example, this is an alcohol marker. This is a Faber-Castell alcohol marker. Pitt Artist pens are water-based. This is a Tombow Dual ABT water-based, but there's also Tombow alcohol-based. Do not use the alcohol markers. It's going to go right through onto the other side. And just use something that has a little bit of a, if you're doing bigger areas, of a wider brush stroke, or even so you can just do 1 quick layer. Make sure it's thin enough. You don't want it super dark, and it's okay if there's streaks. You're going to go for it. Those are really my only tips. So hope you guys learned something. I'll show you this spread when I'm done. And thanks. I'll see you in the next video.